You know what? I swear one of these times I am going to fix my audio right away. Don't worry, it'll kick in. There's a little bit of a delay. So, let's try this again. It's me, Cyber Warrior. This is CyberWarriorStudios. And it's Tech Tuesday. So, as always, as the past few weeks, I've got ParrotSec on my screen. Now, I don't know why, but I don't have a ParrotSec background. It's kind of odd, right? It's just a black screen. It's not by choice. There's something going on I haven't troubleshot yet. But as you can see here, it's basics. So the first thing I want to show you is this little pop-up right here. Now, on my screen, and I don't know how well you guys can see it, so I'm going to help you out. I'm going to pull up the magnifier. Why? Even though it distorts things, it'll help you see. So, I hope you guys can see that. And it says, check update. Do you want to check for new updates? Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't ever use this. Ever. And it's not because I don't like it or because it's a GUI or whatever reasoning. It's not it. That has absolutely nothing to do. Audio is doubled up. Interesting. Alright, cool. Alright, so we're good. We're good. Hey, SecCon, how's it going, man? Alright. But when I see this, I always do the same thing every time. I say no. I don't check for new updates that way. That's not how I update Linux. And again, it has nothing to do with not liking GUIs or not liking the package manager that comes with this. It has everything to do with the fact that I absolutely love command line. So I'm going to do what I always do. And like I said, this is back to basics. So I'm not going to actually upgrade my system today. I'm not. But I want to show you something. And we did this when I first installed Parrot. Now, for all those that are new and haven't watched any of the other videos or just don't know Linux, I want you to understand something. In the very beginning of that command line in Parrot and many of your other Linux distributions, it shows your username and your host name. A lot of your CLIs now do this. Not all of them. You'll still find some that don't. And it all depends on how your terminal profile is set up. But by default, Parrot and Kali and a lot of other Debian distributions like Ubuntu and things like that will do this. So, I am Cyber at Parrot. Now let me ask you a question. And yes, it's rhetorical. I'm going to answer it for you anyways. But if I have a username Cyber, does that make me an admin? If I consider this like Windows, for all those that love Windows. If I want to install something and I say install or update this, will it do it? No. I'll show you that. So if I do apt, and I use apt-get, yes, I know they've updated and deprecated things, and the list goes on. But we're going to do apt-get update. And then we're going to do, whoops, apt-get upgrade. And we're going to hit yes. Oh no! We get told we can't do it. And that is because within Linux, your user accounts, unless by some malicious intent or by some security flaw, they don't have access to root. They don't have access to update or upgrade or anything like that with the system. Unless you are installing a software package for just that user. So I can go out there, and as long as the software that I'm trying to install doesn't need to access any root directories, it will install to my home directory. But when you run an apt-get update or an apt-get upgrade, or the combination of the two. It is trying to access root directories. It's going to go through these resources and try to reach these files that it cannot get because it is restricted to elevated privileges. Before I continue, Cyber Panda, welcome. Bang Bang Panda Gang. What is tilde from KHM3R? So when you're looking at that, right next to Cyber Parrot, so before I continue, I do have a question here. This tilde right here is your home directory. So that tells you what directory you're in. So if you go and cd to or do ls, that's everything that's in your home directory. If I do cd desktop, that'll change to tilde, which is your home directory, desktop. And if you ever want to know where what your home directory is, you have a few options. So I can go back and do print working directory, or you can see the home directory of all users by doing cat etc password, and my home directory is right here. Just like this is my default shell. My default shell has been bash. Yes, Cyber Panda, I do sudo su a lot too. Don't worry, we're going to do that here in a second. So we do clear. And like I said, so app-get update, app-get upgrade. We're going to show you guys that one more time. And we are going to see errors. Now, I can do this, right? So I can do sudo app-get update and app-get upgrade. Type in the password, and I still get errors. Because when you are updating Parrot, you cannot do a sudo. You have to be root. So sudo dash s slash Cyber Panda, I haven't looked that one up. Which one's that? So what I normally do anytime I get on is I'll do sudo su, which drops me in, and it automatically, if you do a sudo su with nothing after it, su is switch user. So I'm saying sudo su, so sudo switch user to root. If I were to have other users on there, it would be sudo su, whatever that username is. But now if I ran app-get, and we're just going to do update. I'm not going to do upgrade because it'll take forever. Oh, awesome. I have problems with now connecting. Let's see if this is the same error as before. Let's open up a new one. I have config. Have an IP address. Can I ping google.com? No. All right. I call it sudo su for telling the system to shut up. Nice. So, if I do anon, and here you guys can see me fix this issue. So, anon serve attempted to start up. And as you can see, there's error with Tor ports. So that is why nothing can connect. So we stop it. Yeah, let's kill dangerous applications. Whatever. It's no longer running. So now it connects. So I had fixed this before the last video, but now you got to see it in action where there's errors with things. So some of these index files fail to download. It'll update or bypass them, as you can see here. I could upgrade these. I'm not going to. I have a slow internet and it'll take me forever. All right. So that is how you would update that system. So if I wanted to, I would do, actually, I could do this. Hold on. App-get update and app-get upgrade. I can always just let it work in the background. It's not a problem. Yeah. Yeah, we'll let that run in the background while we're doing other things because it needs updated anyways. So we'll minimize that. And we'll close out of this because a non-surf is broken. Open up in the terminal. Alright. So one of the other things that I believe I showed you guys before in one of the initial videos of the install, but again, I'm going to reiterate this because we have some new followers and subscribers, is I love aliases. So I've seen a lot of memes that are actually pretty funny of people creating aliases. So I just showed you sudo su. Alright. And sudo is what elevates your privileges. So if I said please su, and mind you, this isn't built into all distributions. I know of Parrot, maybe Kali. I'd have to check the profile or the bash RC file. But as you can see, please is actually an alias for sudo. So if I exit, and instead of doing please, I do, I think it's, no. Oops. I'll have to find it. Yes, I know. It's naughty language. Alright, swear words. But if we do cat bash RC, where is it? Oh, there it is. So here's these aliases, and there it is. It's fucking. That's the word. So that's the alias, fucking. So aliases say these words in the beginning. So anybody that does programming, they're variables, right? So you can consider this kind of like a variable. So please is the equivalent of saying sudo. Fucking is the equivalent of saying sudo. This underscore I is the equivalent of sudo dash I. And then an underscore, interesting, I've never seen that alias before, is also the same as sudo. DD is the same as DD, status equals progress. EM is Emacs. Then you got L for ls-cf, LA for ls-lha, LL. And you can very easily go into this file and create your own aliases. Or you can go into the .bash aliases file. I don't believe it exists right now. .bash aliases. No, it doesn't exist. So I could create a .bash aliases. So let's do that, right? So let's say touch .bash underscore aliases. That'll create the file. So now if I do LA and go up here, now that file exists. But there's nothing in it. If I do a cat.bash underscore aliases, there's absolutely no content in there. So I could say echo, what's a good one? Alias, shit equals sudo into .bash aliases. So now if I do cat.bash aliases, it exists. Let's see if that works. Did I do that right? Let's find out. No, I did not. So let's see the format of this again. Let's go back up here. I did something wrong. So it has to have the quotes. So what am I missing? Cat.bash aliases. Oh, there's no quotes around that. So if we do vi.bash aliases, now we can see the whole thing. And we do I. And we say here and here. And then escape, colon, write and quit. And then try that. Oops. I don't want that. Still not finding it. What did we do wrong? Let's find out. Oh, I know what we did wrong. Let's exit. Pull the terminal back up. So, one thing you have to understand, and I tend to forget this at times too. When you modify your profile for terminal, so bash RC or bash aliases, it will not take effect in your current terminal session. Now, there are ways to reload your terminal so that it will, but if you just attempt to make changes and then use whatever changes they are, you have to reload your terminal in some way, shape, or form. I usually just close out and go back into it, but there are other ways to do that. I'd have to look up how, just because I don't remember offhand. But yes, you can just reload your terminal session. And a new tab, it doesn't do it either. A new tab still keeps the original profile that you loaded in there with. So you have to actually pull up a whole new session. Keep in mind, guys, if you have questions, do you need to restart? You do not need to restart Linux. You just restart your terminal. So let me reiterate that again. You do not have to restart your computer or Linux, just the terminal. As you just saw, all I did was close my terminal and go back into it. That is all I did. CVE 2021-3156. Hey, Cyber Panda, go ahead and send a link to that. Is that the pseudo vulnerability that came out, or is that a different vulnerability? Because I know within Linux there was a pseudo vulnerability, and I didn't recall this CVE number. So if that's the one that impacts all of Linux, go ahead and send that in chat, and I'll send it over here to Twitch. And we'll be good. All right. You're crazy, Cyber Panda. Yes, there is a pseudo vulnerability in Linux. I don't know if the upgrades that I'm doing right now will fix that or not. I'd have to look. But yeah. So the only time you really have to restart Linux, KHM, KHMR, however you want to pronounce that, is if you upgrade your kernel. So, well, I can't say that's the only time. But there are system services, KHMI. Okay, makes sense, Cambodian. Okay, I got you, man. Linux is not like Windows, where you have to restart all the time. Boot into Windows to play Cyber. Hey, look. All right, I do boot into Windows to play Cyberpunk. Don't get it twisted, Cyber Panda. For Linux, you have to reboot for kernel upgrades, I believe it is. And there are certain system services that even if you restart certain services, it will actually kill some of the ongoings of the system. So certain system patches require a reboot of Linux. But other than that, your applications, your drivers, your anything like that, 9 times out of 10, you just restart the service and it takes in the new capabilities or patches or whatever the case may be. So you don't really ever have to restart a Linux system, or at least not often. It's not Windows or Mac, where to do a upgrade half the time it has to reboot the entire system. I can't tell you how many times I've rebooted a Mac in the past year. Monolithic kernel. Yeah, that's true, Cyber Panda. I got you. So moving on. Actually, one of the things I want to do here on Parrot, just because I hate a standard black screen, I really do. We're gonna change our background. So we are going to configure desktop and wallpaper. And do I want a regular Parrot? We want the Parrot one. Which one? I think they're all the same. So let's apply that. There we go. Now we can see the Parrot better. All right, so let's go over a few commands, right? And this is something that I want to do. I also want to pull up my GitHub that I have, because I created a GitHub that does some fun stuff. I don't want to restore session. Let's do DuckDuckGo. Hey, dang it! Now I went to Google. I hit the wrong button. Apparently I did a search for /. We want, we'll go to github.com. What did I name it? Now I gotta remember to name my repo. I don't even know. Let's see. Let's find the name of my repo. Can I switch? Oh, no. I just want to search. Yeah, we'll allow scripts on GitHub. Search GitHub. I think it's... honestly, Kamai, it's really up to you. I think this is it. I personally love Parrot, but it's on you what you want to do, man. Like, Parrot and Kali have a lot of the same tools. So, like, I can go in here and I can do MSF console and load up Metasploit. I already have, and I'll show you here in a minute, all the repos for, like, sec lists and things like that. So there are things baked into Kali that are very easily to obtain, like sec lists or discover scripts or Empire, you name it. There's things that may or may not be in Parrot that you can get. If you're new to security and hacking, ethical hacking, then let's see if I can find this. I would make sure you have an understanding of Linux as a base system, so it doesn't matter. Once you start figuring out what you like, then you can decide if you prefer a certain distribution. I just like Parrot because security and things like that were baked into it from the beginning. Undercover Starbucks. Dude, no, that's Parrot, man. If you Cyber Panda, remember Parrot, anon mode. Then you go through Tor network. You'll be alright. We did this, Cyber Panda. You were on the stream. Hannah Montana Linux. I've never used... Dude, please, don't tell me Hannah Montana Linux is a real thing. I swear. I gotta do a search for this. Let me see if I can find it. SCS Pittsburgh GitHub. SCS PGH. No. Crap. SCS Pentest Tools GitHub. I need to find my repo and I can't do it. Oh, that's gonna make me mad. Firefox. Gotta find this. Not now. Let's see if this is still logged into my GitHub. It's a problem when you have different browsers with different accounts with a whole bunch of different. Yeah. Oh, I need my authenticator up. So, let's see. Where is it? Here. There it is. I want to show you this script that I wrote because it's a simple bash script. And I need to find it. So, we're gonna sign in. No, I don't want that one. That's my work one. I think it's this one. Sign in. I found it. Okay. Come on. No spaces. That was the problem. Oh, lies. Issues? Oh yeah, I did post issues. Repos? Oh. What is this? That's conky themes. But let's see if I go here. And we say Schiller Cybersecurity. There we go. I found it. We're good. Will Kali or Parrot run on my 11-year-old laptop Lenovo T510? I don't see an issue with it. Oh my goodness, Hannah Montana Linux actually exists. So Devil Ray and Fomat and Cyber Panda, you will have to send me some screenshots or something of what that is. And Linux file mod is what I wanted to show you. And we're going to do a git clone. So copy. And yeah, so here's Metasploit. I would have to know the specs of that laptop, Kamai, so that I knew whether or not it would run. It shouldn't have an issue, but it really depends on what the specs are. Whoops. Why did that do that? Paste. There we go. Alright, I'll check it later, Devil Ray. So, CD Linux ls. And we're going to do vi search.sh. So this is legitimately just a bash script that I created because, well, I wanted to test bash scripting. Intel Core i5e Pro, 2 gigs RAM, 125 gigs solid state. Yeah, it should run if you install it on bare metal. I don't see a problem. Whoa, that was not supposed to happen. Let's see. So yeah. So if we want to see what this does, so I use sed, and it's basically just going to be a find and replace feature. And then I also run, do I just do grep? I thought I used this for just grep too. Yeah. And then I also just do a grep also, I believe. Let's find out. I don't even remember. It's been a while. Whoops. So if you, yeah, if you add more RAM, Kamai, that'll definitely work. That's really the only thing holding you back. Oh, Panda. Bang, bang, Panda gang. So, we'll get into what these commands do, but if I do echo, just to make a test file, test into test file, and do cat test file, there it is. And then if I do dot slash search, oh wait, I gotta make it executable. Chmod plus x search.sh, and then do that. Now that search.sh is executable. Before it wasn't. It was solely just a file. I would have had to do bash, use bash to then execute the file. But now if I do search.sh, what file do you want to search? Well, we want to search test file. What do we want to look for? Well, we're going to look for test. Do we just want to search for the existence of the word or replace it? You know what? We're going to replace it. What do we want to replace it with? We're going to replace it with bang, bang, panda, gang. Do you want to create a new file with the new terms? So basically the way I did this is I can either create a new file or I can just overwrite the file. We're going to create a new one. What do we want to name it? Bang, bang, panda gang. Hey, Cyber Panda, I know, but I wanted to work on bash scripting. Leave me alone. You would have to combine a bunch of different commands and know options, Cyber Panda. I mean, you can do it, but you have to know. You always have to know like what sed switches you're using, or grep, or how you're finding the file and things like that. But I hate trying to remember options. So now if I do ls, I can do cat bang bang panda gang, and there it is. And if I do cat test file, still exists. So let's execute this script again, and we're gonna say we're gonna check test file and test, and we're going to replace. And what do we want to replace it with? We're gonna replace it with hello. No. So now if I do cat test file, it now says hello. And that is all because of my script. So if I do cat search, sed is going to do your find and replace. So it's going to search for a term and replace the term. All right. So when you do sed, s is search. So you're searching for, in this case, I was searching for test. And then I'm going to put the slash in, and I'm going to replace it with whatever I put there. And then it's going to search within a file name. You give it that file name. Up here, where's the initial? Choice, grep said. If grep said then next, I'm going to grep on there. And if you just do grep, or if you're just searching for a term, all it does is cat the file name, so it reads out the file and looks for that search term. That's all it does. It's nothing more advanced. This was just a basic script I wanted to use so that I can add a little bit of additions to my script, to my abilities to search for things. So, and I gave it options. Again, it was just to help with bash scripting. So if you want to learn scripting and bash scripting, build things that make your life easier. I hate remembering options. I hate having to look up commands all the time. So I built one when I knew, after researching commands, built a script that did exactly what I wanted. And it is legitimately just a search for a term, or it's a find. Essentially, it's the equivalent of Microsoft's find or find and replace functions. That's all it is. Only I don't have a GUI. I have a terminal that does the exact same thing. So if you're looking for it, here, I'll just, if you guys want it or want to play with it, feel free. I'll send, dang it. I forgot. I don't have Linux. GitHub.com/Scheller cybersecurity /Linux file mod. I have other scripts on my repo that aren't as pretty, I'll be honest. So, that's the Linux file mod. I have other ones that I've played with. But one of the things I did, and I don't know if you all caught it, is I ran a git command. I don't know Git like some people out there. Some people know the ins and outs and everything about Git and how to make it do everything. I don't know all that. But I've created quite a few scripts I've worked on. None of them have ever been finished. Let's be honest. I haven't finished all of them yet. But I did create a few. So for those who do like Hack the Box, VHL, or if you're doing your OSCP or whatever the case may be, you can also do git clone. So Git is installed on like every Linux distribution. And so you don't have to worry about it. With Windows, you actually have to install Git to be able to use it within PowerShell or command line or command prompt, CMD. But on Linux, 9 times out of 10 there's distributions where I'm sure it's not, but most of them, they're there. Oh, crap. So as you can see, I just made the mistake of putting training scripts inside the Linux file mod directory, which is good and bad. It's good because now I can teach you how to move directories. It's bad because I didn't want it there to begin with. So we're going to do move. Oops, not MC. Come on, dude, I will help you all day. You tell me what you want to learn about and we'll do it. Move training scripts to there. So now if I do ls, it's gone. CD back, ls, and there it is. So here we have ls that listed out my directories, and then I said move. So in Linux, mv is move, the training scripts directory, and anytime you see a ... that means the previous directory. So okay, so I want to move training scripts one directory back, and that's how we got here. And then a cd ... takes you back, and it changes directories one directory back. So there it is. So we go cd training scripts, and again, I say back to basics because that's how you learn, right? That's how you figure out how to do things. So we're gonna look at another script I have. So I was working on different training scripts for accessing different VPN files and things like that. And this was one of the ones I developed first, which was a bash script to do automatically log into Hack the Box VPNs without having to worry about where your VPN file is. So you would go into the script. So I would go in here, and I don't have my VPN files in here, so I can't execute the script itself. Like, it won't function right. But if I do vi HTTP VPN, all it does is this shebang says what environment to run it in, or what emulator, whatever. So Python 2, Bash, Z Shell, whatever the case may be. So this was written for Bash. And then we got Echo, which just prints the screen. Which VPN do I want to activate? HTTP or Hack the Box original. So just a standard Hack the Box VPN file, OVPN, or Fortress, because I have the Fortress OVPN file also. And then this read-p basically says, all right, so this -p, this read-p is going to put in a prompt. So this is my prompt, and then read in whatever you type. So I would go here and I'd say 1 or 2. If 1, right? So if this $VPN equals 1, so if variable VPN equals 1, then it would run OpenVPN in the file. Now again, here's the problem on Parrot and newer distributions of Kali. You have to be root to execute these. They run certain networking commands. They do things within the network infrastructure that you can only do as root. You cannot execute OpenVPN as a standard user. If I'm wrong, please tell me I'm wrong. Anybody who watches this later, go ahead and put it in the comments. I'd gladly let you tell me I'm wrong and whatever else. But it is to my understanding and everything that I have done, OpenVPN, because of the way it interacts with the network, has to be run as root. So this is no longer good to run as a standard user, which is fine. Then it's just either you're like me, and when you're doing things like ethical hacking or Hack the Box or something like that, you're automatically root anyways. You just do sudo su. Or I run my older Kali distributions where I still log in as root. Hey, Hacker, welcome, man. Good to have you here. So, again, it's just a basic bash script, and it's just if-elif statements. The difference between Bash and Python for me, and what took me a little while to learn, was where we learn in a lot of other programming languages and scripting languages that it's just if-elif else, or if-else. We already know, and it's implied, if-then. So if this, then do that. In Bash, you have to state the then. So as you can see here, if this, then do whatever. Else, if this, then do whatever. Else, echo, please choose 1 or 2, and then it finishes. So Again, it's bash scripting. It's something that if you're going to deal with Linux, bash, Python, Ruby, some scripting language, you should really get to know because you want to automate the boring stuff. And me, I like having options versus having to have arguments. It's just how I am. I don't want to have to remember all the different switches and arguments to commands. I like options. So I will actually develop scripts or develop ways. So if I read Violent Python when I was in one of my courses for the Army, went through Violent Python and took those scripts and reformatted them when I was in a course to have options instead of arguments. It's just how I am. I prefer it that way. It's less that I have to remember. But let's take another look. So like I said, I was talking about Python. That is the other thing I have in here is some Python scripts. So if I go to vi setup.py, this is a little bit more advanced. And again, this is supposed to be Linux basic, so I'm just going to fly through it real quick. Just because since I downloaded it, I wanted to show it to you. In here, this actually sets up. So if you were doing these things, if you're on Hack the Box, if you're on VHL, if you're doing PWK, you can do things like this to automate getting started in your morning. If you're doing it for school or after at work or whatever the case may be, you can automate a lot of this stuff. I created these to automate things. I cannot guarantee because I was already done with PWK, so I was already done with my OSCP by the time I created this, and I never did VHL. I just happened to be involved with the community. But I knew they required passwords, and I think VHL uses a different VPN altogether. But you can go through and download this and mess with it, fork it, or do a pull request, or whatever the case may be. But this creates a TOML file that has the location of your VPN files, and then if you have passwords, it's encoded. I mean, it's only base64 encoded, but it's encoded. So you can do things like that. And again, this is all Linux, man. Like, you can do this on Windows, but some of this stuff is just so much easier on Linux. You can do so much more. You have so much more leeway to do things. Cyberpan, I haven't even touched Golang. I haven't even looked at it yet. Now, when this script runs, and I'll show you real quick what it does, and it's not going to run the whole thing because I'm going to get an error as soon as I run it. So let's go ahead and trigger that error. Remember, this one doesn't have that shebang, so it's going to get interesting. So if I do /vpns.py, I get nothing. But if I do python3 /vpns.py, I don't have TOML. So again, this comes down to how you run things. I don't have a make file. This isn't designed, or even a pip env file or anything like that. This isn't necessarily designed without understanding that if you get errors, how to fix them. So for me, pip3 install TOML. And again, still Linux basics, a little bit of Python, so you can understand how to do things. That module error means I have a TOML import, so I have a module in that script that is not installed on my system. It was when I created it, but I'm running a new OS now, a new install. It doesn't work. So now we go ahead and install it and then run it. I must run setup.py first. So yeah, it's not going to run through. I don't have any of the VPN files on here, so I'm not going to go through the headache of doing it. But again, it's just basics. It's just going through and doing little things to find your way around Linux. Some of the other basics that we can look at is some of the most important files, right? So I already showed you, if I do it again, Etsy password. Now, there's a reason there's two files for your users, Etsy, or for that look like this, Etsy password and Etsy shadow. In the old days of Linux, Etsy password actually had the passwords. It was one file that had everything. And it was available to be read by all users. And that was a no-go. So it didn't take long for them to change it. Right? So Etsy password still available to all users, But really all you get from that file specifically, is just usernames. That's it. But if I do an ls-la/Etsy password. Anonymous. Yeah, it was one file to roll them all. That's really what it was. You can even see here, I have no capability as a basic user to write to this file because it is still in. And if you start going through offensive security or hack the box, if you gain write access or the ability to use sudo and access this file through VI to save, you can still put a password in there and Linux will read it first. That password file is read first. So if you have a password in there, you can use it. Again, if I'm wrong, someone please tell me. But if I recall correctly, Etsy password gets read before Etsy shadow. So anybody watching, if I'm wrong, please tell me. But if I'm not mistaken, if you remove that X, so your password will normally go here, your encrypted password. And I'll show you that. But if you remove that X, put a password in there that's encrypted the right way, it'll read it. But then we have Etsy shadow. So if we do cat Etsy shadow, now, where is it? Oh wait, I get permission denied. Anonymous, it might. It might be the PAM config. You could be right. I'd have to look at it. If you can verify for that for me and give me a source link, that'd be great. If not, I'll look it up here in a minute. I have no access to Etsy Shadow as a basic user because that's where all the encrypted passwords are stored. Can people read password on Notepad? If you pull the file, it's read access across the board. No, I'm going to show you the password now. So Etsy password is plain text. Etsy shadow is not. So if I do sudo Etsy shadow, whoops, shadow. Oh wait, what am I doing? You know what? Fucking cat Etsy shadow. There we go. So we go here, and asterisks mean there's no password there. Or, no, not no password. They're system services, so you can't even log into them. There's absolutely nothing you can do to these accounts. You can't log in as them. This encryption right here is an encrypted password. But here's the thing that Etsy Shadow, where it differs. So let's look. So we have all this. You have numbers, all right? Whereas up here in Etsy password, and this is where the things differ, Etsy password, Etsy shadow contains the information about which algorithm was used to encrypt as well as the encrypted salt. Correct. Etsy password has what your UID is, right? What your GID is, so what group ID you have, your home directory, and your default terminal. Etsy shadow has the UID, so 0, but let's go down here. I believe that's all it has. Actually, I don't even think it's going to show 1,000. No, so 0 is nothing. If somebody knows the endings of these, I can't exactly remember what the ends of Etsy Shadow mean. I know password is user group, user ID, group ID, and maybe group. So if I do cat Etsy group, cat group, there it is. So cat Etsy group, I can go up here, and these are all the different groups. So root is group 0, that's the group ID, and you will also see the members that are part of those groups. So dial out, I'm a member of that group. I'm a member of CD-ROM, of floppy, of sudo. So I am in the sudo group. I'm not a root user, but I'm a member of sudo group. Infinite logins, what's going on, man? So you can see a lot if you can learn to navigate a system. And Kamai, this is where enumeration comes into play. So anybody who's getting into pen testing, who's getting into ethical hacking, who's getting into the offensive side of things, and even the defensive side, because this also tells you what you need to protect. As a default Parrot install, one of the first things I do personally, if I gain access as a standard user to a Linux system, one of the first things I do, is it -L? Yeah, I'll run sudo -L. And what that lets me see is what commands I can run as sudo. There are some people that will give sudo access and say, how it says here, all. That means I can, basically, I can be root. I am root. I have a password. I know the password to user. I am root. I have to use the sudo preface to execute anything as root. But I can switch users to root. I can execute or read any files. I can install anything. It does not matter. A proper file actually has restrictions, and it'll say like, let's pull it up. Let's make it easy. Sudo -L. Sudo Wikipedia. Let's see if it'll give me a proper sudo file. No, that one does not. But the consensus seems to be if Etsy password is writable, regardless of PAM config, it will take precedence over Etsy's shadow for backwards compatibility. I thought so, Anonymous. I really did. I could have sworn that's what it was, but I was not 100% sure. So thank you for looking it up for me. So Kamai, like I said, if you're wondering, yes, the general consensus is right now, if you can write to Etsy password because you have, say, sudo privs to write to that file for whatever ungodly known reason, then you can change the root password and log in as root at that point. So you'll see that a lot. And there's GTFO bins. Kind of getting off track of basics, but it helps because these are problems you'll see. And I want sudo apt-get changelog abt binsh less other functions may apply sudo changelog apt target package ESL must not be installed and shall exist. The update command is actually executed. That's not a good one. I want a good one. Sudo. Do they have just a sudo? QRST. Sudo SU. Yeah, figures. Yeah, so GTFO bins has a bunch of them. I was looking for something that would explain the sudoers file, which is cat Etsy SUDOERS. Oops. Please cat Etsy SUDOERS. Alright. Is sudo and su the same command? No. Sudo is the command that elevates your privileges. Su means switch user. So if I created a user, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna do it through the let's see. Create user Linux. I ain't gonna lie, it's been a while since I've had to create a user this way. So we're gonna do it this way. And do it this way. This way. User add options username. Alright, so we can do user add Oh, I gotta do sudo. That's right. Sudo user add -m parrot. So now I have a parrot user, right? So if I do cat Etsy password, I have a parrot user. No password. So if I do cat Etsy, sudo cat Etsy shadow, Parrot's there, but I have no password assigned. So that exclamation point means there is no password with that user at all. So if I do clear, and I can do, I don't even need sudo. I just do su parrot and hit enter. Should work. Come on, be a peach. What? Why can't I switch user without a password? So sudo change password parrot. Okay. Trying to figure this out. God, it's been a while since I've created users this way. So if I put in a password, so no password. Oh, missing new password. Testing. I am doing this wrong. See, this is the beauty of being live. Because like you guys, I have to look this stuff up sometimes. Let's see. Caveats encrypt. I don't care about that. No, I don't want to do that. Come on. Quit taking forever to load. Oh wait. For an existing user, okay. So sudo password parrot. New password. There we go. All right. I got a minute unchanged. What? Oh, I did it wrong. That's why. There we go. So now if I do su parrot, now it works. All right. So within Parrot, to switch users, you have to have a password assigned. Got it. That makes sense. So now if I do who am I? I'm Parrot. But as you can see, this is where I talk about profiles and the .bashrc and everything else like that. I created this user in a CLI that didn't carry over a default profile. So even though echo shell, instead of it being a bin bash shell, it went to a default shell of bin sh, which doesn't have. So if I do ls-la, I don't even have it. Or let's do cd back ls-la. I have a bash rc file, so I can do bin bash, and it brings me into there. But because if I do cat etc password, the default shell is that bin sh. So that's what it's going to drop into. So even though the bash rc file is there, that's not the default shell. So if we want to change the default shell, change default shell for user. Let's see. Etc shells, I don't care about that. User mod dash shell. Okay, so we do user mod shell bin bash parrot. What? Sudo user mod shell bin, oops, not bin, bash parrot. Exit. You have mail. Clear. Sudo su. Let's just go to root. And this will be the last thing we do. We'll change a shell. So user mod shell bin bash parrot. So now if I do cat etc password, Parrot's default shell has now been bashed. So now if I do su parrot, now I drop into the bash shell. So there you have it, guys. That's some basics of Linux. And you can see, again, I don't do things, I don't act as if I know everything. I still have to look things up just like you guys do. But this is how I operate. If I forget something, if I don't know something, I'm not afraid to look it up. And I'm not afraid to show you guys how to do things. chsh.s. Ooh. Is that on here? That's actually a good one. There it is. chsh utility. -s. Ah, okay. So we could do... So it's the same thing. It's the same thing as user mod. So yeah, you can do that. I mean, it's looking here is the exact same command. CyberPanda is chsh shell. That's legitimately yeah, user mod -- shell. You still have to put in what shell you want it to be and the user. So multiple ways to skin a cat, right? More than one way, as they say. So again, these are just some basics. Look, if you're on YouTube, go ahead, throw it in the comments. Let me know what you want me to cover next week. These are just things I'm going over as I go through my week. Different things I think people want to know. And Kamai, thank you for coming on, because as these are basics, there's little things that you can take notes on or understand that not everybody knows everything. I'm not going to sit here and read a manual and word for word teach you what a manual says. I'm going to tell you my way of thinking, and sometimes I just forget things. So I'm going to Google it or DuckDuckGo or whatever, and we'll look it up and we'll do this together. All right? That's how I operate. We're a community. We need to be together. We need to operate together. If you're on YouTube or Twitch, I believe I have a link to my Discord server on both places. If not, you can look it up. I also down below. So look, if you haven't followed, subscribed, or whatever else to me, please do it. All right. If you enjoy the content I put out, this Friday will be Security Happy Hour. I have a bunch of I love Security Happy Hour, but I got a bunch of big things coming down the line. Right. Devil Ray knows what's up. So we have a lot of big things happening. We have a lot of new content in the works. It's going to be coming out. I will say this. You're going to start seeing a lot of new faces. All right. It's coming. It's coming. You're going to see a lot of new faces. A lot of new shows. A lot of things happening. So if you follow me on Twitch, look, I will guarantee you will always see on Twitch myself every Friday. In due time, you may see some new faces pop up for Tech Tuesday, but you will always see me on Fridays, and Tech Tuesday will still be here. If you're on YouTube, you're going to get to see a bunch of stuff, because pre-recorded content I can put on YouTube, I cannot put it on Twitch. I am not an affiliate. I am not a partner. They will not allow me to upload pre-recorded content, which is fine. I'm okay with that. I like being live. So go ahead. Look, I got Patreon. I've got Buy Me a Coffee. Hit that subscribe. Hit that bell. And I will see you all this Friday for Security Happy Hour at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And I got some special guests coming your way. So I'll see you all then, and I hope to see you soon.